grappled with a virus known as COVID-19. And back then, every day was hand washing day because it was one of the recommended protocols for safety. Remember? Social distancing, hand washing, and face masks. That was what the medical field told us that we must do in order to stay alive. Now, hand washing is relegated to a commemorative reminder. It's on days like this you remember, oh, this is important. So what lessons are there to learn? COVID reminds us that everything is seasonal, even a pandemic. So no matter what you think you're going through, one day you will forget, and you will only relive the experience through memory. Good afternoon, welcome to Hard Facts 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Chinedu is what I'm called, and I respond to that name every single time. It is 17 minutes past 3 p.m. on the 15th day of the 10th month in 2025. Well, beyond hand washing day, today is also the birthday of someone dear to me, my younger sister, Gift Chinedu, who I happen to have relegated breastfeeding duties over to my immediate younger sister. Yes, indeed. And as is culture in Nigeria, I've spoken to her, wished her well, said a few prayers, and we act like we love the person a little extra on their birthday. But I'm blessed and glad to still have family members that I can reach out to on special days such as this. So if today is your birthday as well, happy birthday. Please ensure that you understand the blessings that you have and you count them while you have them. We start Hard Facts with the big stories, as we always do. Governor Fubara approves payment of 8 months' salary arrears for health workers in Rivers State. That's good news. The PDP has reacted to the defection of the Enugu State governor. They've said a thing or two. And reps are urging the federal government to convert the forfeited Emefiele-Linked Abuja estate. Remember that one? Yes, they say that the federal government should use it for two purposes. One, low housing, better yet, housing for low-income earners. And two, this is the interesting part, IDP. Yes, indeed. And finally, the Rivers Chief Judge has is set for jail delivery exercise to decongest the Port Harcourt Correctional Center. Coming up at 4, I will have the National President of Petron join me as we discuss the hike in the price of petrol and gas as well. Apparently, the Dangote refinery seems to have a bit of a production hitch. And at 5, we go medical. The WHO has warned of the spread of drug-resistant bacterial infection. A pharmacist will join me to have that conversation. But the question is simple. Do you notice that drugs no longer remedy the problems they used to? Well, those infections might just be drug-resistant. 6 brings the major news. After that, it's open season. Stay with us.
When in dire need of assistance or help within Rivers State, please contact the Rivers Emergency Service.
Welcome back. Big stories, 92.3 Nigeria Info. And as always, we begin at the beginning. 2 months after newly recruited health workers in Rivers State cried out over unpaid salaries, relief has come their way. The governor of the state, Sir Fubara, has approved the payment of 8 months' salary arrears owed to the newly employed staff of the Rivers State Hospital's Management Board. The affected workers, part of the 1,000 health personnel deployed across the 23 local government areas of the state, had in September lamented their plight, saying the non-payment of their entitlements had made life difficult. Announcing the development, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Justina Jumbo, said the arrears will be settled alongside their October salaries. Mrs. Jumbo, represented by the Director of Medical Services, Dr. Vincent Wachuku, disclosed this during the official launch of the Electronic Medical Record System in 4 pilot hospitals at the Kelson Harrison Hospital in Port Harcourt. Well, by all intents and purposes, this does sound like good news, and it is deserving of an applause. Okay, so the money has not been paid yet, right? But promises have been made, because the report says the governor has approved the payment. And I would like to very clearly state, and this is not me putting Nigeria down, because when you try to analyze objectively, you kind of have to drag this country, because you will find too many things not working. It is important to note that while at this point it does not qualify as human rights abuse, I believe that the non-payment of workers, delay in salaries, anything having to do with a laborer not receiving their wages when due, is a gross violation of fundamental human rights. I have not said that yet, but I think it should be added immediately. Listen, there is a special place in hell. No, I'll rephrase that. There is a special breed of inhumanity. That might be a better way to phrase it. For those does not work well in that sentence. It is a special form of inhumanity. Yes, Sam, this works. Owing people salaries, especially if the capacity to pay is well within your reach. And now more than ever, that things are more expensive than they have ever been. Inflation is at an all-time high, as it always will be, because it's inflation. It does not make sense that a human being in any part of the world is complaining about unpaid wages, salaries, monies that have not been paid for work that has been done. So the fact that the governor, of course representing the River State government, said, well, this payment will be made, it's a welcome development. It's amazing. But I hope it does not end in the realm of making promises, because this report says the payment has been approved. I'm hoping that it is actually paid. And when the money is paid, those who have been paid also confirm, we have been paid, oh. So that in this business of talking and working for development, we can move on to the next agenda. You see, when people are owed, their voices are loud, which it should be. Right? It should be. You protest, you call out, you appeal, you dialogue, and maybe even go on strike, as you should, because you're demanding an entitlement. Now, when the money has been paid, obligations have been fulfilled, you should also speak, so that people do not, in social media terms, keep dragging the authorities. Meanwhile, the problem has been solved. So those who will receive these monies, hopefully, when the monies drop, the alert drops, please invest the same energies in telling the world, it has come. And I know that those who might be owing some people money, they might not want to shout that they've paid, because they know Mama Nkechi will come and say, oh yeah, we hear say Fubara don't pay. I beg, that my 2.5. Let me have it. But please, let people know that you've been paid as well. After the break, we will talk about agenda setting. Apparently, someone somewhere believes that they are not feeling governance in River State yet. Stay with us. of salary arrears payments for workers in the health sector. Well, beyond that relief, there are questions that linger about the governor's broader direction for the state. The chairman of the civil liberty organizations in River State, Sonny Dada, says 1 month after the reinstatement of Governor Fubara, there is still no clarity on how he intends to govern the state. Mr. Dada made this observation in an interview with our correspondent, Suibi Oruwari.
We encourage the governor, now that he is back and assert himself in office, get the commission, appoint new commissioners. Since he has laid off commissioners, appoint new ones, send them to the River State House of Assembly for confirmation, so that governance will come into full throttle. This current passive state that we are witnessing is not helping the state. The governor has been passive. Governance generally has been passive. PAMSECs are also waiting for directives, and we want him to hit the ground running as soon as possible.
All right. Yeah, he does need to hit the ground running. The CLO chairman also urged the governor to speak to Rivers people on whether he intends to continue with some of the policies introduced during the 6-month state of emergency.
Beyond the appointment of commissioners, there are many things the governor himself has not done. For instance, there is no clarity in terms of the kind of policy trusts. What is the body language? Is he going to continue with his policies before the crisis, before the state of emergency, or now that they have a peace pact? Because our understanding is that there are some policies that he has been asked to drop, and there are some new policies he has been asked to adopt. We have not seen anything yet. He is only speaking in parables.
He further advised the governor to clarify his stance on the suspended monthly sanitation exercise.
That is sanitation exercise. Remember, Port Harcourt has become a garbage city. So these are some of the things. So we have not seen clarity in terms of the body language of the governor. We are seeing him visiting project site. That is part of governance. We encourage him to do that.
All right. So I do agree with Sonny Dada that commissioners need to be appointed as quickly as possible. Send the list of nominees to the assembly so that work can continue, right? Because several ministries are currently not experiencing the kind of progress that they should, obviously, because there's no commissioner. I know that there is work done, but this part of the equation needs to be settled. I also remember that the governor hadn't even come in yet, and the assembly were like, can we have the nominees? People were like, oh, allow him come back. We just came off, And yes, indeed, it seemed like they were hasty. But now, it's been quite some time. So, Rivers people would need to know who these nominees are and eventually who gets appointed, so that you can channel your questions and queries to the right ministries, knowing exactly what commissioner is responsible for that. For other things, well, yeah, the governor does need to answer questions. But my concern about this is, no, it's a question. Should leaders be vocal about every single project, or should they let the work speak for itself? I know that some people, everything they do, they run to the media. Oh, we did this, we did that. Right? It's a personality thing. Others might not necessarily want to publicize it, but it's the people who will say, yes, so he did this, he did that. And sometimes you wouldn't blame those who always talk about their achievements. Because if care is not taken, tomorrow somebody might attribute that to someone else. Simply because this person, when he was in power, he wasn't loud. He didn't publicize it. So maybe if this governor decides to speak every single time he does something, we would understand how fast the wheels of progress are turning. But hey, it's all about development and governance, and we're hoping that we get the best version of it. Now let's go over to the PDP that has reacted to the defection of the Enugu State Governor. Bode George, a member of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees, expressed surprise at Enugu Governor's defection to the APC. He stated that he had not anticipated such a move despite efforts by party elders to address internal grievances. George emphasized that governors alone do not define the PDP, asserting that the party's strength lies in its grassroots support. He wished Mbah well, but maintained confidence in the PDP's resilience, likening it to an Iroko tree that stands firm despite challenges. George also reaffirmed his commitment to the PDP, describing any notion of leaving as absolutely impossible, and expressed optimism about the party's future. So they've downplayed Mbah's defection. Say, yes, congratulations to him. We wish him well. But governors do not make the party. It's the people that do. Beyond Bode George, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologuagba, downplayed the significance as well of Mbah's defection, asserting that the PDP's strength lies with the people, mirroring the thoughts of Bode George. He acknowledged internal and external challenges. He expressed confidence in the party's resilience and ongoing efforts towards its November convention, which has already been disputed. He suggested that the wave of defections is orchestrated by the APC through inducements and coercion, aiming to weaken the opposition ahead of the convention. Despite recent setbacks, Ologuagba described that the PDP remains active and committed to its goals with or without governors. So these same words have been said through different mouths representing the party. They say, oh yes, congratulations to those who defected, but we must understand that the party is about the people and not the governors. Before I say what I think, it's important that you hear directly from them, and then we get to assessments. Let's hear from Bode George.
Governors alone don't make the party. They are an added value. The people make up your party. We will campaign. We will go to the field and explain to people what has the APC done to put smiles on the faces of Nigerians. What are the economic indices? It's not a matter of, oh, you are there because it's in government and they think that they can maneuver and manipulate the results for them to win elections. No! We will make sure that the will of Nigerians will prevail.
All right. And over to the PDP National Publicity Secretary.
Hope is a superpower, and that's what we believe in. But beyond all of that, what is important, and the Nigerian must know that the PDP is a broad-based party, and the PDP is based on policies, programs, a mission statement that defines the party. So it is based on the people. Why not discounting the importance of governors or leaders of the party at different levels? The strength of the PDP is in the people. And that's why we talk about the name, which actually reflects what the party means. The People's Democratic Party. So yes, we could be concerned, and we will be concerned when we have a governor, for instance, leaving the party. But we are not daunted by that because the strength of the party is in the people.
Okay, so two gentlemen making the same statement using different words but heading in the same direction. That it's about the people and not the governors. They're unfazed by Mbah's defection. And one of those interviews that led to this statement, the journalist also said to, I think it was George, that there are other governors who have shown signs that they also want to leave, even though the defections have not been made official. But it's quite clear that in the coming days, the announcement will hit the airwaves. And he said, well, yeah, these things happen in politics, but the PDP is stronger than ever. I'm glad that they both admitted that the party does have its problems, and they are working through those problems to get to a solution, right? That's some high-level self-awareness. But let's break it down. You have to admit that the more influential figures you have in the ranks of your party, the more relevant you are. If Party A, now we have 36 states, have 30 governors, and Party B has 6, you cannot dispute, regardless of what you want to believe or agree with. Power is power. Now, we have seen political office holders consistently promise to deliver their polling units. And that statement is both literal and figurative, because it shows that they intend to deliver their catchment area, which is their literal polling unit, and then use their political influence to attract votes to the party. The governor of any state has some baseline support. right? No matter how you think he's a good governor or a bad governor, there's organic support that they get. You can't take that away. So, while the PDP wants to tell themselves that it's not about the governors but the people, and they are true, right? They're telling the truth. They need to also understand that the governors are people too. The question is about the level of influence. I think we can all agree that the journey for the PDP just got a bit tougher. Is it impossible? No, but it's very difficult. Finally, okay, not finally, but I'll take this headline before taking calls. The House of Reps have urged the federal government to allocate the forfeited Abuja estate linked to former central bank governor Godwin Emefiele to low and middle income earners and internally displaced persons, vulnerable groups as well. This followed the adoption of a motion by a member, Jafaru-Leko. The estate, comprising 753 duplexes and apartments, was recently handed over to the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development by the AFCC after a final forfeiture order granted by the Federal High Court. Now, this is interesting. Yes, they are thinking along the lines of reason. Vulnerable groups and IDPs. Yeah, that's partially okay. I remember at some point the NLC said, oh, let's give it to teachers, right? Workers, some people who have worked for 30-something years and may not be able to get themselves houses. This might be a good settlement for them. Now, I think 750-something houses would not be enough for all those that need to be represented in labor. But the federal government needs to do something reasonable with this. My problem with this call was the addition of IDPs. And while this might not be where the reps are going, I will help them get there. The fact that they added IDPs means very clearly to Sam Chinedu, who is a citizen of Nigeria, that they are not looking to solve the reason behind the displacement of those people anytime soon. To imagine the recommendation for the use of forfeited asset for IDP shows that it is an arrangement that we have come to accept. Now, IDP are displaced persons, of course. Nobody wants to be displaced from their home. Nobody ever thinks in any way, shape, or form that anywhere else would be better than their home, unless it's a toxic home. So now that, of course, Emefiele's forfeited assets, we are now considering one of the many things that is being recommended is, for internally displaced persons, let's also set them up there. Are you telling me that you don't have plans to solve the problem that led to those people being displaced in the first place? Because that's what I get from this move. How about we solve the problem so that they can go back to their homes? How about nobody's displaced in the first place?